Hello everyone, hope you are happy and healthy. Let us begin a new chapter. We will study chapter number 8, Quadrilaterals. First of all, let us understand what is a quadrilateral. It is a closed figure made by four line segments. So, a quadrilateral has four sides and four angles. This type of closed figure is called a quadrilateral. Now let us recall angle sum property of a quadrilateral. If we have quadrilateral ABCD, what is angle sum property for it? Students, recall that we have learned angle sum property of a triangle, that the sum of all angles of a triangle is 180 degree. Similarly, we have angle sum property for a quadrilateral. If we draw a diagonal for a quadrilateral, in the figure you can see we have drawn diagonal AC. So with this diagonal we can have two triangles. So for one triangle ABC, the angle sum property will be 180 degree. Same way for the other triangle ACD, angle sum property is 180 degree. So, addition of 180 degree and 180 degree gives us 360 degree. That is why the sum of all angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degree. So, here you need to remember that the angle sum property of a quadrilateral. What it is? The sum of the angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degree. Now let us see what are the types of quadrilaterals. The types of quadrilaterals are parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, square, trapezium and kite. Let us study each one of these one by one. First of all, we have a trapezium. What is a trapezium? Here, for trapezium, one pair of opposite sides are parallel. For this figure, we have a quadrilateral ABCD, in which we can see that sides AD and BC are parallel to each other. So this is the property of a trapezium which you need to remember. What it is? One pair of opposite sides are parallel to each other. So here quadrilateral ABCD is a trapezium. The next we have parallelogram. Let us see what it is. There are types of parallelograms also. First of all, let us see properties of parallelograms. For parallelogram, the opposite sides are parallel to each other and the opposite sides are congruent, which means they are equal in length. Here, for parallelogram XY, ZW, we have opposite sides equal, which means XY and WZ will be equal. Same way, XW and YZ will be equal in length. Also, XY and WZ will be parallel to each other and XW and YZ sides are parallel to each other. So you will remember that for parallelogram, opposite sides are parallel to each other. Also, opposite sides are equal. So same way we can see for this also, rhombus and square are called parallelograms. Here also properties of parallelograms are given. Opposite sides are parallel and opposite sides are congruent, which means equal in length. So let us understand types of parallelogram now. Now here you need to remember all the properties of parallelogram, that will be the properties of rectangle, rhombus and square. Okay, because these are the rectangle, the rhombus and the square. These are the types of parallelograms. Okay, so let us see what is a rectangle. Here, all the properties of parallelogram. Opposite sides are equal in length. Opposite sides are parallel to each other. Additionally, we have all four angles, right angles for a rectangle. Then, the next we have rhombus. What are the properties of rhombus? All the properties of parallelogram. Opposite sides are equal in length. Also, opposite sides are parallel. But here for rhombus, we will remember that in a rhombus, all sides are equal. And that is called a rhombus. As you can see in the figure, all sides of a rhombus is of measurement 8 centimeter. So all sides are equal for a rhombus. Then the next we have a square. We all know that square is also a parallelogram. What are the properties of square? All four sides are equal. Also, all the angles are equal and of 90°. All angles of a square are right angles which are of 90° measurement. A square is also a rectangle. Then the next we have is a kite. Students, remember that this kite is not a type of parallelogram. Okay, what are the parallelograms? Rectangle, rhombus, square. Kite is not a parallelogram. Let us see what are the properties of a kite. As we can see in the figure, for kite, pairs of adjacent sides are equal. What are adjacent sides? Adjacent sides are the sides which have common endpoints. So the sides which are together, they are called adjacent sides. So here for quadrilateral ABCD, we can clearly see that sides AB and BC are equal. Same way, sides AD and CD are equal. So this is kite. We will remember that for a kite, adjacent sides are equal and both pairs, one pair is AB and BC, another pair is AD and CD. So both pairs of adjacent sides are equal. That is kite. Now there are some points to remember. A square is a rectangle and also a rhombus. Please remember this. A square is a rectangle and also a rhombus. Then the next point we'll remember is, as I already told you before, that a kite is not a parallelogram. The next point we'll remember is a parallelogram is a trapezium. Why is it a trapezium? Let us understand the property of trapezium is that one pair of opposite sides will be parallel, right? And in parallelogram, we have both pairs of opposite sides parallel to each other, which means this parallelogram has property of trapezium. That is why a parallelogram is a trapezium. But if I ask, can we say that a trapezium is a parallelogram? No, we cannot. A trapezium is not a parallelogram because parallelogram has both pair of opposite sides parallel to each other, right? But in trapezium, only one pair of opposite sides are parallel to each other. That is why a trapezium cannot be a parallelogram, but a parallelogram is a trapezium. Remember students, a parallelogram is a trapezium, but a trapezium is not a parallelogram. The next is a rectangle is not a square. A square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. Why rectangle cannot be a square? In square, we have all four sides equal, whereas in rectangle, we have pair of opposite sides equal. All four sides are not equal. So a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. Same way, as we have talked before, that a square is a rhombus, but a rhombus is not a square. Okay? Why is it so? For rhombus and for square, all four sides are equal. Then why are they not same? Because in square we have all four angles right angles, whereas in rhombus we don't have all angles right angle. So a square is a rhombus, but a rhombus is not a square. So this is all about the types of quadrilaterals.